are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, part of the Lineups Podcast Network at lineups.com, the Big Heads Media Network at bigheadsmedia.com, Dash Radio.
Holy shit, you go on forever, Zach. Jay, go on.
I know. This is great. And check out our sponsor, Ticket Club, the New York Knicks podcast.com/Ticket Club. Use the code NYKP to get $20 off an annual membership. This is episode 488. And the Knicks stink.
Also, if you're going to buy a Ford, tell them the New York Knicks podcast sent you.
Yeah, just start doing that. See what happens.
Everywhere you go. when you order something on Amazon, leave a little note. New York Knicks podcast sent us.
I'm using code NYKP.
Just everywhere you go. You're at Best Buy, you're like, I'll take that TV. New York Knicks podcast sent us. I'm sorry, what's that? They sent us. Eventually, it's the opposite of having them advertise with us. We're going to do it the reverse way and have it send us money eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'll just start sending bills to all these places.
Yeah, so instead of getting the advertisers first, we're going to get the customers, then get the advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this crap figured out, unlike the Knicks, who have nothing figured out. The Knicks just finished losing to the Wizards because why not? Coming off getting trounced by the Bucks and the Heat. Jay, can we just pretend the Hawks game was the last and only game we'll ever see for the Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks trounced the Hawks and
Crushed them.
Oh, are the Knicks making a turnaround? Maybe they're starting to figure it out. No, the Hawks are just the worst.
The Hawks are just a horrible, horrible team. But can we just do the show pretending the Hawks game was it's it? Like, let's pretend the Heat and the Bucks and the Wizards game didn't happen.
I mean, the Heat and the Bucks game.
No, Jay, this is amazing. The Knicks just beat the Hawks. We just watched the game. Knicks scored 140 points. I assume no other games will happen this season. Let's just talk about how great the Knicks are.
Yeah, I think if Barrett keeps shooting 85% for the game, that the Knicks are going to do good.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say if Barrett shoots 85% for the rest of the season, he is Rookie of the Year and possibly MVP.
Yep.
I think 85% would be a pretty good percentage.
I think as a team, if they shoot 56, 46, 77 every game, they're going places.
I think if they can score 140 a game and hold their opponents to 20 less points, we're good.
Yeah, I think they'll have a pretty good record if they keep doing that.
Yes, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go back to the Knicks in a second because have you heard about the NBA's new idea?
Yeah.
Okay. What the NBA is proposing, they're going to shorten the season. Everyone's been calling them to shorten the season, so they're going to take 4 games away, make it 78-game regular season, and then they want to have an in-season tournament. They haven't specified exactly how that would work, but the winning team, $1 million per player and $1.5 million for the coaches pool for champion, and then have play-in tourneys for 7 to 8 playoff seeds, the 7th and 8th playoff seeds, and a final 4 reseed in the playoffs based on regular season records. This is what the NBA is proposing. Jay, you have been calling for a shortened regular season for a while. What do you think of this whole idea?
It sounds like it's longer. It sounds like they took away 4 games and added 30 playoff games in the middle of the season.
It's 4 less games for the Knicks to lose.
I don't like it at all.
So, well, let's start. Let's go one by one.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the Knicks ever again, Jay. 78 games from 82. Why do you think they'd go any shorter than this? I mean, 78 alone is they have to retain the revenue.
Right. So four less, I guess they're compromising slightly.
Yeah, they're saying we'll take away 4 if you give us a tournament because the players apparently don't want to do this tournament idea.
Nobody wants the tournament. I don't think the fans want the tournament.
Well, I was listening. Like soccer internationally has lots of they have like they have tournaments. Why can't the NBA have tournaments?
This is going to go great.
College basketball has tournaments.
Yeah, this is going to go great until your favorite player rolls an ankle and he misses 2 weeks because he was playing in a stupid tournament game in the middle of the season.
Well, I think the tournament would count for the regular season wins and losses.
Then it's then it's the same amount of games.
No, I mean it's be part of the regular season. Just like game 38 through 41 are part of the tournament. So you could have a mid-season champion and a late-season champion.
Oh, this is terrible.
What do you think about the idea of having a play-in, like for the 7th and 8th seed, have a play-in games?
No, I don't like that either.
Why not?
Oh, look, we had through a span of 78 games, we had a better record, but you won game 35, so you're in and we're not.
Well, we're the 7th. Like, you're talking about teams that have are barely above 500.
So
why couldn't they? Why couldn't the 7th seed play the 9th seed and the 8th seed play the 10th seed to play in? One game win or lose.
Yeah, I hate that. You play 82 games and one game in the middle of the season. What if, one person has a bad game and now you're not making the playoffs?
Why do you not want to make the NBA more fun?
It's not more fun. It's terrible.
So basically, you want to stick with the same idea. Your idea basically is let's cut off 15 games, have the players scream about the fact they're not making any more money, making less money. What's your idea, Jay?
Oh man, they're only going to make like $10 million a year instead of $12.5 million a year. I feel really bad.
No, but the players aren't going to. No one wants less money. That's how it works. No one wants less money.
So then you just leave it. 78
So if
games.
they came to your job and they were like, Jay, you're going to work 4 less hours a week, and we're going to take away money from you. Would you be up for that?
It depends how much I was making. If I was making $20 million a year, I really would not be like, so I'm getting a little bit less. I really wouldn't care.
You know what's weird though? Like you make what you make. The guys that make $20 million feel the exact same way about their salary that you feel about your salary.
Yeah, but they have no sense of reality.
Yeah, but if you don't have no sense of reality, you're not going to suddenly get a sense of reality.
True.
I mean, the whole point here is that by middle of the season, the season seems kind of long and they're a lot dreary. It seems too long, so they want to make some way to make the season a little more exciting. What if maybe the team who's halfway? If you win the halfway tournament, you have I don't freaking know. I did have an idea for the All-Star game to make it better. I actually have a legitimately good idea.
Is it eliminate the All-Star game?
I have a better idea.
Okay.
So
because that's my idea and I like it.
So you have leading up to the All-Star game, you have weekly fantasy basketball tournaments or some kind of fantasy basketball tournament. The top 4 seeds, the individuals, the fans who are the top 4 seeds in this, get to come to the All-Star game and pick their teams. You select a pool of 32 or 36 players. They get to pick their teams, and then you have basically a small tournament. You'll have the first 2 games, then 1 game. Basically, you have 4 teams playing a tournament to see who wins the whole thing, and the games will be half the length. So basically, fan A, fan B, fan C, fan D get to pick their teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then those teams play first a 24-minute game, 2 12-minute halves, and then the 2 winners play each other in another 24-minute game.
Is it out of a selected pool of players?
Yeah, so you pick the All-Star team, and the players. It'll make it a little more exciting. Like basically, you'll have fans basically getting to pick their teams.
So it'll be the All-Stars that are.
Yeah, no, the All-Stars are still going to play, but the fans get to coach, and they get to coach the team and pick their teams. Maybe not coach. I don't know. It'd be fun if they got the coach and did all the subbing and all that. Just make it the fans really get to lead this tournament, this All-Star game.
That's not bad. I mean,
how it would be. First of all, suddenly you have real the fan itself. The winning fan will get win $1 million for winning the whole thing, and a bunch of money will go to the charity. And you're it'll be great. Jim and Joe will basically be these random fans who won some fantasy tournament to get here, and they'll actually be able to sub in LeBron James or play Anthony Davis to try to win the title.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this is kind of cool. I know I did not do the best job explaining this, but essentially, and this is just, I'd rather talk about this and talk about the Knicks. We'll get back to the Knicks in 1 second. But if you had basically real fantasy basketball going on, it'd be kind of cool. Just make them shorter games.
Yeah, as long as the
I don't
the
know if
pool of players they get to choose from is who would have been all-stars anyway, because you don't need somebody winning and then trolling the league and,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing where the fans got to vote on who would be an all-star in hockey, and they basically put some player in who didn't deserve to be in it, and it became a whole thing that hockey got really annoyed about.
That happens in the NBA every year.
Well, no, but like the NBA fans never voted anyone who's just completely doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah, they have.
Like who?
Like the year Yao was injured and played 5 games, but all of China voted for him, so he was an all-star anyway.
That makes sense. No, I understand. So in hockey, they picked a player that no one would ever put in the All-Star game, and they just everyone just got behind it basically and made it just drove the NHL crazy. I forget who the player was, but in the NBA, it'd be like the entire all the fans being like, you know who deserves to be in there? Trey Burke, and suddenly Trey Burke's an All-Star, something absurd.
That would be funny.
Like Frank Ntilikina is going to be an All-Star suddenly. No offense, Knicks fans.
He's going to be someday. He just needs time.
He's starting the All-Star game. It would be a joke. Anyway, it would be really kind of cool if the NBA fans actually made the All-Star game really gave it to the fans. Let fans coach the teams, let the fans pick the teams of the All-Star players, and then let them sub in and sub out. If you had shorter games, basically games that are half the length, then you could make it work.
All right.
And the players have something to play for because they're like, hey, I'm trying to this really means a lot to Joe over there.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay. I don't want to talk about the Knicks on the show.
Gave that a lot of time.
Yeah, so anyway.
The Knicks.
Jay, did anything happen after the Hawks game? I'm going to assume the Hawks game is everything.
There was a snuff film of 13 guys getting tortured for 48 straight minutes.
Which night? Against the Heat or against the Bucks?
It was a back-to-back.
Oh my god.
It was brutal. So, okay. Positives.
We no longer are pretending Miller's any better than anyone else. We're no longer pretending the team's turned around because they have Mike Miller. That's the positives. We're back to just realizing we're just facing pure misery.
So he seems to just be splitting the point guard 3 ways now between Ntilikina, Payton, and Smith.
Yeah, he seems to be going more at Payton than anything else, though.
Yeah, I mean, after the Miami debacle, he started Payton, and the Knicks were down 17-4 within the first 3 minutes of the game, so that was fun.
By the way, tonight against the Wizards, a game the Knicks should have won. They were up early, but Payton had 30 minutes, Ntilikina had 11, Dennis Smith had 7. I get the sense also that he doesn't believe in Ntilikina. He's not in the team. Ntilikina will become an all-star. He does not believe Knicks Twitter.
True, but he seems to be believing in Smith less each game as well.
Yes. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, Smith hasn't done anything. Ntilikina is not good on offense. I mean, I know there's still a lot of Ntilikina truthers out there, but he's not good on offense. And it's really hard to have a guy playing point guard who's not good on offense.
You know what? So I'm going to shout out to another podcast. So Posting and Toasting, they have their own Knicks podcast. I don't know if they're listened, but the most recent episode, I forget who the host is. This guy Jacques, and all he did for 20 minutes of the episode was just trash Ntilikina. And I always hear Nick fans going on about how much potential he has. He's like, Ntilikina just sucks, and just went on and on about how much Ntilikina sucks, which was just an interesting breath of fresh air.
I mean, I wouldn't say he sucks. He's just
it doesn't suck. He went too far in the other direction, I thought, but it was nice to not hear one person be like, Ntilikina is going to be the greatest. If you just played him 49 minutes a night, everything would work out well. I don't know why the Knicks don't give him a chance.
Yeah, the thing is, he's been playing 10 to 12 minutes lately, and I feel like that's fair.
He hasn't been earning minutes.
Yeah, what has he done to earn 20, 30 minutes?
If anyone wants to go off on how he's not giving him a chance, he's been here for 3 years now. He's gotten a chance. Or almost 3 years. I guess half season last year, half a year this year, and a full season this first year. But he's not really getting better.
Right.
What about the idea that it sets your franchise back if you believe in the wrong players. It's not just drafting the wrong players. If you believe you draft the wrong players and then really believe in them, it sets your franchise back.
It does and it doesn't. I mean, in this case, the other option is to play vets who are on short contracts and won't be here in a year and a half. So
I got another option.
playing what you got, you know.
Look at the goddamn Miami Heat. What do they got? Look at their roster.
Yeah.
Two of their starters are undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
They didn't believe who they had. They went looking for talent still. Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn were both undrafted. Anyone else could have had them. And Miami basically found them and developed them.
Yeah, half their team, really. I mean,
Bam Adebayo is like a 14 pick in the draft. It's not like he was drafted after I don't know if he's Knox's year or he's like these. It's not like they have a roster full of like not number one picks in the draft.
yeah, Tyler Harrow was the 13th pick.
They have a hell of a team. I mean, they have Butler. Butler's really good, but they were able to lure Butler partly because they just such a good job of running a team.
Yeah.
Though they didn't have Hero, they didn't have Nunn last year, and I don't think they had Robinson last year.
And Derek Jones Jr. was, I think, undrafted.
Well, so isn't Robinson undrafted and Nunn's undrafted?
Yeah.
Jones it's amazing if you just say we don't have the talent, let's go look elsewhere until we find the talent. Maybe that's what the Knicks need to do. The Knicks have to stop saying Ntilikina is the answer at point guard. They have to say we don't have a point guard. He's not it. Let's look elsewhere. They need to be more willing to try to find guys elsewhere. I don't know. They're willing to change coaches every 5 minutes, but players, either you're a vet signed to a contract, or you're a rook or a guy we drafted who we will not give up on until you're 4 years in. Then we will never re-sign you because we don't re-sign players.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it does set your franchise back in the sense of like they drafted Ntilikina, still believed in him, so they didn't draft Shai Gilgeous the following year, and you don't go after a point guard because you're like, we have our point guard. We're gonna keep developing him, and it's not like Ntilikina is the problem. So many guys on this team are the problem, but it's just like when you buy too much into your own players, you almost screw yourself.
they just need to do better in the draft.
We need to go better in the draft. You need to like look for talent in the D League. You need to look for or G League. Sorry, you need to look at other teams' cast-offs almost. Like see who's not getting minutes on other teams. Look at Livingston on the Nets. Not Livingston. What's his name?
LeVert?
Levert. Not Levert. The other guy. The one that's playing really well right now.
Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie found him and basically developing on a phenomenal effort with the players. They are going like, hey, these guys don't even have arms and they're going to hit 3-pointers and be an amazing team and you guys won't watch. You goddamn city of Miami won't watch. Knicks have won. Knicks can't win games. Knicks go whole season without winning games. And the fans are like, well, we got to be there for every game.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jay. Go more negative. Jay, I need you to go more negative than I am right now.
At this point though, there's 7-24, and it's like I don't get what the point is. Like they're not developing players. Nobody's getting better. They're giving minutes to guys who aren't going to be here.
This was not a well thought out team. Mills has to go. Clearly, I mean Dolan has to go, but Mills has to go. He does not have a plan. He does not know what he's doing. The idea this year of just throwing out a bunch of free agent contracts and going like, we'll maintain our cap flexibility and bring in these guys and just say, hey Fizz, try to coach this.
Right. For 2 years. It's a placeholder team. We have no intention of keeping 75% of these guys, but have fun.
Have a real plan. Just say like, hey, cap flexibility. We don't even need that because no one's signing here. Let's try to figure out how to.
I'm having a hard time getting invested in this team. Even if they were pretty good, it's like they're all going to be gone. So what are we really doing?
I don't know. It's like a homeless person whose like big concern is maintaining his credit score.
Yeah.
Like it's just like what we're trying to do here doesn't make any sense. If you look at this roster, Mitchell Robinson, yeah, develop him. He looks good. Barrett, it's good nights, bad nights. He's young. I think he will be a really good NBA player. It's going to take time. I believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, I have no idea. I actually like Dotson to a certain extent. I'm out on Ntilikina. I'm out on Knox. Been playing like I can't see it with these players. I just cannot see. When are they going to be old? When can we say, hey, this guy's just not going to work out?
Well, the Knicks drafted them, so it has to be at
It's
least
4 years.
They have to play 300 games before we can even begin to say if they're working out or not.
Or if they're a player that we say, hey, is the best player we drafted since Ewing, we'll see if it works that he'll work out in another city.
We think he might work out, but let's do it in Dallas and see.
But I wanted to add, someone gave us crap last week for praising Timmy Hardaway. All I was saying is it's kind of phenomenal that we traded Porzingis to help clear cap space and getting rid of a guy like Timmy's contract, who Dallas was like, great, you gave us a starter.
Yeah, I think my point was that the Knicks traded away the best 3 players. I mean, usually you trade away, if you trade away the best player, you get a lot of stuff back. But they traded away the 1, 2, and 3 players.
I just don't know what this team is like. So they played the Bucks. I mean, the Heat is like just marvelous. Like you watch that team, they are built so well. They've done so much with like finding diamonds in the rough. Bam Adebayo looks amazing. Nunn and Robinson can hit threes till the cows come home, so to speak. Butler looks like Butler. You watch Butler, you're like Philly shouldn't have given him up, even though he didn't have a great game against the Knicks. But like you still watch Butler, you're like Philly should not have given it up. They've had a great team. Then you watch, and I think they might be of the teams in the East. They might be the second best team in the East.
Yeah, and then you go to Milwaukee, DiVincenzo and DJ Wilson, both 17 picks.
Yeah,
17th pick for both of them.
Adetokounmpo, the Greek Freak is not. It was like a number 11 pick in the draft or something. But a lot of people passed on him.
Yeah, but I mean, they got half their. Middleton's a second rounder, so like their core is late picks. You have to do better in the draft.
And even like Brook Lopez was at a point in his career where the Bucks signed him on a 1-year short-term, like small money NBA terms deal, and he revived his career with them.
Yeah.
Like Brook Lopez, the Nets were like, we don't need you anymore. The Lakers, I guess, didn't want him anymore, and the Bucks were like, hey, come here and shoot threes. He's like, I can do that, and now he's like super valuable.
And also gets 7 blocks against the Knicks.
Holy crap! Stop throwing the ball into his hands.
I mean, I don't think Lopez has ever gotten 7 blocks in a game before.
A guy not known for his defense, the Knicks are like, we're gonna make him look like he's on the 1970s Celtics.
I mean, that just got comical after a while.
Oh my god!
So yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. They're pretty much eliminated from the playoffs already.
I mean, they are. In theory, they could win the rest of their games, but
yeah, technically they're not eliminated, but this is.
Please tell me this is our lowest moment of the show. Like, tell me it's not going to get lower from here.
I would say that, but it could. You never know with the Knicks.
I don't even. And I look at other things, what they're talking about on Knicks Twitter, like people are like, oh, we got to trade Randall, as if that'll solve anything.
Oh, yeah, trade a top 3 player on the team.
It's always like this one player. We always every year have one guy. If we only got rid of him, the team would be fine.
So
if we could only get rid of E.S. Cantor, we'd win the title.
So today he got 35 points on 21 shots.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block. Who are the Knicks going to get that are going to? And they still lost.
By the way, who didn't play today? Marcus Morris.
Marcus Morris, yeah.
Can we just trade him before he's like injured?
Wait. It says did not play coach's decision.
He was. I think he was. He didn't play for. He was in street clothes.
Okay. Oh yeah, but they're just resting him.
I forget why he didn't play. Hang on, let me look right here.
Resting him on neither
Won't
night.
Play Monday. Why won't he play?
Resting him on neither night of a back-to-back.
No, he's nursing a sore left Achilles.
Oh, that's always good.
First of all, trade him before his Achilles gets sore. The Knicks are like, hey, we won 2 games. We beat Golden State and beat the Hawks. Let's ride this.
Let's ride this wave.
By the way, his brother for Detroit hit a ton of threes the other night also.
Mm-hmm.
Are just the Morris twins like the best 3-point shooters in the league?
Well, the other Morris twin doesn't usually do that.
I know he doesn't usually do that, but he hit a ton of threes the other night. I think he hit like 7 threes.
All right, we have an email. I'm gonna just jump
this.
around because
Please, this show sucks. I can't take. I kind of wanted to. The show got off to late start because my kids were screaming. I couldn't get them to sleep, and all I kept thinking is, I'm trying to get my daughter to sleep so I can talk about the worst thing in sports.
What are we doing with our lives?
Nothing.
Isam writes, "Hey guys, what would a trade between the Golden State Warriors and the Knicks look like? Golden State Warriors don't have a 4 like Randall, and we need a point guard that can close games. We might give them Dodson and a first rounder from Dallas. Seems as a legit in-season trade for Golden State Warriors if they're okay trading before the offseason."
By the way, I looked it up. Markieff Morris won 7 for 12 from 3 the other night.
Yeah, that's really
that's
good.
pretty insane for a guy that doesn't really shoot threes either.
Yeah.
Golden State supposedly said D'Angelo is off the table. They're not trading him this season.
Don't believe it. So
yeah, okay, it's fine.
They're not trading Curry, so if the Knicks want to trade a point guard, it has to be D'Angelo Russell's listed as shooting guard, but he could play point guard.
Yeah, he played point guard last year.
I mean, right now they've used almost all 45 days of Kai Bowman, and they haven't signed him to a full contract yet. The Knicks could try and steal him. Then they don't have to give up.
What are the Knicks giving up? They're giving up one of the Dallas picks and what else? Dotson and what else?
Are you talking about for D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell, pick whoever you want. Just take.
We'd be the best GMs. They're like, so we were thinking, just take someone from our team. Who cares?
Who gives a shit?
So I'm gonna just amend my fan idea. So forget that. Forget the All-Star game thing. How about the NBA? Just let whoever's good at fantasy basketball run the Knicks. What's the difference? Could you do any worse than the current Knicks organization?
You couldn't. So what would you think of Knox, Dodson,
sure,
and a Dallas pick?
Of those 3 things, the one I want to hold back is the Dallas pick.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going to be like the 25th pick, but you never know.
You never know. I'm just saying, like, you could find talent in the draft. We already know what Knox and Dotson. I like of those. If you had to put them in order, rank them, I would put the draft pick we don't know yet who the player will be first. I'd put Dotson second. I'll put Knox third.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be wrong about Knox.
Well, he was right about the power forward. Looney looks like he's almost done. They're resting Green as much as possible. So maybe they'd be interested in a Knox Portis combo.
They have to. Well, no. You know why they won't be? They don't care about winning games this season.
Yeah. It's like Knox and Portis.
You're right. Never mind.
Hey, you need a power forward? We have 7 of them. So take a couple.
I mean, we should just be offering up our cap space to the rest of the league and just saying, hey, we're not using this. Take it, give us assets, and then we'll get a real GM who can run this team. Nothing else makes any sense.
Russell makes $27 million, though, so that makes it a little trickier.
Take more of our contracts. I don't what throw in Wade Ellington. We're done. All these guys are on insane contracts with the Knicks also.
Yeah, I mean, Portis is 15, so you need to get another 12 in there.
Like the Knicks also said, like we're going to sign a bunch of vets, and you know what? We'll just trade them for assets if things aren't working out mid-season or something. Portis, you have to get back $15 million in contract to like trade him. What team is going to go like, hey, we're going to trade our expiring to get Portis?
You know what? Portis and Ellington does work.
They spent Portis and Ellington. They spent the exact same amount of money that Golden State spent on D'Angelo Russell.
Well, that's 23 and Russell's 27. I think that's within the 10%.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So almost, yes.
It's almost.
Also, when you're watching the Bucks game, did you have it in your head that Portis makes $3 million more than Lopez?
I mean, in fairness, the Knicks were just giving away cap space. They were just giving away. You have to hit the 90% threshold. So the Knicks were like, we have to give you.
You don't have to though.
Well, you have to hit the threshold.
By the end of the season.
I'm just saying you
don't
have
want
to hit it.
You don't want to wait for buyouts to see if somebody becomes available. You just want to cap it all out on Bobby Portis.
That's just thinking ahead and understanding the rules.
Bobby Portis would have said no to $10 million. or
Bobby Portis, here's an NBA job.
Right.
Try to get one after you're a Knick.
Or like $12 million. Like save the 3 because there's always that team that somebody gets bought out and everyone can offer the minimum, and there's this one team that can offer like $1 million more than the minimum. That could have been the Knicks.
No, but who's getting bought out and being like, you know what's a better situation? The seller.
Some players are like, you know what? Screw it. I just got bought out.
I'm getting the money from that contract, so I don't necessarily need to get the best contract. I want to win.
Well, that's why you get you're a team that could be like, look, you're getting the rest from the contract, but we can pay you another $1 million on top of that.
You know, it'd be really fun. I just got bought out. I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the season tanking.
Well, what if you get bought out, but you're still the best guy on the Knicks?
Okay, let's
so you're
I
plugged into the starting lineup, and then you work for a contract for the following season.
Yeah, whatever. I feel like most of the guys in the Knicks had that idea. They're like, we'll sign a 1-year deal with the Knicks and see if I can get a better deal later. I'm gonna come to the Knicks. Morris is like, I'm gonna come to the Knicks. I'm gonna like get all the minutes. I'm finally gonna be the star on the team, and then I'll get a huge contract from there.
He might be the only one that panned out for.
But I think everyone's idea. Bobby Portis is like, I'll sign this 1 or 2 year deal. I'll be so good for the Knicks. I'll get a huge contract, and I'll get a lot of minutes because there's no one on that team.
Yeah, well, he signed it after the 4 other point guards signed, power forward signed, so that was just dumb.
Yeah, everything's dumb on this team.
I mean, Bobby Portis saw that Randall and Morris and Gibson all signed, and he's like, yeah, I'll get a lot of minutes.
Well, I mean, one of the things the Knicks have that you really, most teams don't have is lots of playing time. You feel like they're going to have tons of free agents. It's going to be an open tryout, basically, to get playing time. And if you have a vet name, you'll get more minutes, just because the Knicks like to play vets.
If the Knicks are going to be this shitty, can't they just play Kadeem Allen?
I mean, if they're going to be this shitty, can't they just figure out the all-star team from the G League and just give them all jobs here?
Yeah, remember 6 weeks ago when we're like, I don't know, the Knicks might be too deep.
It's like our blooper moment.
I'm going to find that episode and delete it.
You know, the Knicks may not have stars. They have a lot of good players. They may have the best second unit in the league.
Guys, their bench is just as good as theirs. Well, that might still be true.
Let's just go off on things we've said earlier in the season that we look stupid for now. you know, Ntilikina might really be the starting point guard. Dennis Smith might have a lot of potential. He's the one they really should develop.
Oh, that's good they got Ellington. He's one of the best 3-point shooters for his career. It's going to help a lot. Spread the floor.
Bobby Portis, if you look, he had a stretch of games last year that were really good. He might actually be something on the Knicks.
Do you think Julius Randle's going to make the All-Star team this year?
Julius Randle, guaranteed 20 points, 24 points a game and 11 rebounds. Guaranteed.
Anyway.
RJ Barrett, Rookie of the Year.
Okay. So
Mitchell Robinson. Well, he'll definitely be better at not fouling this second year. He gets some of the worst foul calls I've ever seen on a player. He just moves and they call it. I think it's just a thing out there where refs know that Robinson fouls everyone, so they're just looking to make those calls.
Yeah.
Just so excited. So Miller. Is Miller suddenly fizzed out? Do we feel any better about Miller as a coach? Like, is he a better coach than Fizdale? Do we have to apologize for Fizdale for the fact that the Knicks are trash again? Was it fool's gold? How do you feel about Miller now?
I mean, he's a little better. He started Knox today, but he started Knox at the 3 instead of the 2. So that's an improvement.
But Morris wasn't playing, so he didn't really have an option.
He did have an option.
Oh, I'm just saying Morris wasn't playing. It was kind of a decision. Fizz might have made the same decision.
Yeah, but Fizz did 4 forwards as a starting lineup.
But Morris was playing for that game. Morris wasn't playing today, so Morris.
So I guess the
Morris
test
out.
is to see what happens if Barrett misses another game.
I mean, as far as performance anymore, like after the last 3 games, I don't know. I mean, I like Miller better, but this team is tough.
I think it's just the team. I mean, I think he's better than Fizdale because against crappy teams they compete. Like they only lost by little against Washington.
But they did that all season under Fizz. There were a ton of games against crappy teams where they competed. They got blown out against good teams.
Absolutely destroyed by good teams.
Yeah, and the Bucks and Heat kind of destroyed the Knicks. I mean, all we have to hang our hats on is that Hawks game. I mean, they also won the Golden State game and the Sacramento game. They had some wins, I guess, but and the Hawks game was pretty awesome, but the Hawks are goddamn horrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, Trae Young, it's a bizarre show there. Trae Young is going I'm going to score 50, and everyone else is just going to do, I don't know what's going to happen on the rest of everyone else. It's like a joke out there with that team.
Well,
he's scoring. No one else can do anything on the court. And Trae Young can't guard anyone.
No, and he's a ball hog, and it takes everybody else out of the game.
I guess. But he gets some assists, at least.
He does. Well, he didn't take Jason Collins out of the game. Boy, am I glad I held on to him in fantasy.
So what did Jason Collins do today?
27 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 threes. Shooting 60%.
Not bad.
12
you want to hear
20.
Do you want to do a Where Are They Now?
Sure.
Michael Sweetney. Remember him?
Yes, I do.
He is, according to New York Post, he's overcoming darkest Knicks moments at Yeshiva. I'm changing lives, he said. I don't even really want to go into the story. I don't know how the Knicks ever drafted Michael Sweetney. They've drafted so many players that are just bad.
We got the first trade of the season.
Oh, what did we trade Randall for?
No, it was not the Knicks.
Oh.
The Jazz traded Dante Exum and 2 second-rounders to the Cavs for Jordan Clarkson.
Wow.
Kind of interesting.
The Jazz need more scoring, so I get that, I guess.
Yeah, and the Cavs are collecting assets, which is what the Knicks should do.
Holy why don't the Knicks do that?
I would have taken Exum and 2 second-round picks for anybody on the team.
I would not have taken that for Morris, only because I think we can get a first round for him.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Knox?
I'm
Knox
also saying, Kevin Love, trade him here, give us a first round pick. We'll take him. I don't know what the belief is. Why do you want to keep salary cap space?
I don't know.
Is there any good reason? Is anything going to happen in the next 5 years where you're like, if only we had salary cap space?
I also thought this story was funny. The Lakers vowed not to lose 2 in a row again after losing to the Bucks.
Yeah.
And then they lost the 3rd game.
Ooh.
So they probably should have got a win under their belt before they started talking about never losing 2 in a row again.
Yeah.
They kind of jinxed themselves.
Yeah. Hey, so I asked this question on Nick's Facebook, or our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Randall gets too much crap from fans?
Yes. I do. I think he turns it over too much. But I think he's turned the ball over less since Peyton came back.
Yeah.
And I think it was just that he was trying to do too much, or maybe that was the plan for him to do too much. And with having somebody else actually, this is more proof that Frank isn't a point guard, because as soon as an actual point guard comes on the floor, then he's turning the ball over less.
I mean, it's a weird idea to tell this guy, he's a young player, and he hasn't even been the number one option on a team before. And we're going to run the offense through you and expect you to become our point power forward. That's a lot for him to take on when he doesn't even have a great handle.
Right. They're
It's not
just
like he's
like
this
made
great
up.
dribbler.
Yeah, it's like they just made up a role. They're like, you know what a good like passer Chris Webber was? You should do that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm not quite Chris Webber, in case you didn't know that.
Right. Like, okay, remember that one borderline MVP season Noah had? Recreate that.
I mean, he could. The problem also is you brought in so many players that play his position. Like him and Morris don't fit great on the court together. Okay, let's go on the questions.
Yeah, I did the email already.
Alan writes, could you guys cry on this weekend's pod, like legit breakdown of the state of the Knicks?
Oh, we came
We've
pretty close.
kind of been doing that already.
Yeah.
Julian writes, enough of Knicks. Mark, what do you think of Beltran? Big things coming for the Mets. I am excited for the Mets. The Mets are potentially going to have a new owner. Beltran, if you don't know, Jay, Carlos Beltran was an all-star for the New York Mets, and now he is managing the team. And the Mets won 86 games last year. They are a good team. They're going to compete for at least I think they're a playoff team this year. I cannot say that about the Knicks. And I may never be able to say that about the Knicks again. Julian writes, can we really criticize the players, whoever they are, when the franchise is that dysfunctional? Example, D. Rose, I think we became the Orlando Magic where most of our players would be much better somewhere else. It's painful to see. D. Rose does not look bad this season. He's looked better since he left the Knicks.
So does everybody. They're either out of the league or their career gets exponentially better. There's like no in between.
The Knicks never look better than the Knicks just never make players better. They're never like, those players on their own are not that good, but together, man, they're really good. The Knicks really bring a lot out. So how do we fix this?
I think they have to do what we've been saying. They have to get more assets. So I would do what we've been saying. Trade everybody, take on bad contracts as long as you get assets. Amass as many assets as you can.
They can never. Nothing's going to work out if Mills is still here, right? I mean,
no, definitely not. Because Mills doesn't have that kind of mind.
He's not. He's never been in like. He's more of the. My understanding, he's more of like the accountant side of things, as far as he's never been the like player like I spot talent.
No, definitely not. Never. I mean, think about Hinkie. Carter Williams won Rookie of the Year, and Hinkie's like, yeah, he's not that good. I'm going to trade him. And everyone's like, what the hell is that about? And Carter Williams hasn't done anything since. That was the right move, and he sold high, and he got assets for him. You need a mind like that.
You don't need a mind that says, hey, Ntilikina averaged 4 points a game in his rookie year and 30% shooting. He's a keeper.
Right. Like, Hinkie would have traded Ntilikina, Knox, like, you know, instead of just letting the rookie contract run out, not re-signing them, and losing them for nothing.
Yeah, it's hard because like it's hard to draft a guy and just give up on them so fast. Players do get better, just not when they're Knicks.
I mean, Hinkie was right. Like, look at the players he got rid of. He got rid of Okafor. He's done almost nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he let a guy go and you're like, oh, I can't believe he did that.
So let's look at a player who the Knicks drafted and got better elsewhere. Not to go back to Timmy, but the Knicks drafted him. He went to Atlanta. He was a much better player after playing in Atlanta than he was for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
They at least got him better. Now, he's not a good player, and there's lots wrong with Timmy, but he became much more service. Is there anyone else we drafted that might be a better example? Everyone hates Timmy.
Trevor Ariza?
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
Channing Frye? That's a long time ago, too.
I mean, now the Knicks aren't drafting guys that... I guess Porzingis... Who are they drafted who's left? They're keeping the players they draft now for at least a little while.
Well, they always keep them for a little while.
Or they don't have draft picks for like a decade.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks didn't have a 2016 draft pick, so Ntilikina is the most recent draft pick.
I mean, it was crazy when the Knicks are like, we're back to drafting players. We're doing things right. And the rest of the league's like, it's not a new thing. Having your draft picks is not like something you're like, you get applauded for.
Right. Yeah, it's basically like every 2 years they had a first rounder.
Yeah, not a good percentage you want to for.
I mean,
if you're winning titles, that's not a bad percentage. If you're a terrible team, it's not a good percentage.
2015 was Porzingis. Then you have to go back 2 years for Hardaway, and then 2 more for Shumpert. And then,
I mean, unbelievable.
and then 2 more for Jordan Hill.
Yeah. Holy crap.
And that's it. That's all the first rounders for the last 10 years.
It's baby steps. It's really big. At least every year now we have a first round pick, which is like, we get to participate in the draft again this year? This is crazy.
We have a 3-year streak going of first rounders.
Holy crap. Yeah, we're getting a top 10 pick this year easily. I mean, no matter how you do the lottery, you can't get us out of the top 10.
Yeah, that'll be the 5th straight year. Fourth straight year.
It is. There are people out there to go, like, it's not about tanking. It's about player development, drafting the right players. And to a certain extent, the Knicks are proving them right.
It's both.
It's both.
It's drafting the right players and developing them.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas not like, wow, Dallas, what a job you did in developing Doncic.
Yeah.
But, okay, Frank writes, now that Elfrid Payton has the Knicks record of 29 straight assists without a turnover, did you know he had that record, Jay?
Yes.
That was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He's joining the upper echelon of greatest Knicks point guards of all time with Chris Duhon and Raymond Felton. Where would you rank him all time among Knicks point guards? 3, maybe 4.
This is so ridiculous.
Let's move on. Pat writes.
I mean, we're just moving on because it's depressing. Not because
it was a great question, Frank. It's just horrible.
It's like Earl the Pearl, Mark Jackson, and then take your pick between like Duhon and Elfrid Payton. It's so bad.
I'm sorry. I do think Felton was better than both those guys.
Skinny Felton, right?
Skinny Felton. Yeah, he looked really good with Amari the first time around.
Yeah.
Pat writes, and not trolling fans at all by saying 2023 draft lottery preview. How do you know we're going to be in the draft lottery that year, Pat? Holy crap! That's all our questions, Jay. That's all we have.
Good. Merry Christmas, everybody.
It wouldn't be Christmas without snow and the Knicks season already being over.
We usually a little more positive until about January 15th.
It's usually the last couple of years. I don't know. They usually have like some start of the season where they're okay for the first like 30 games and then they fall off a cliff.
Yeah,
they were doing that under that was like the great Phil Jackson era, and now they've actually gotten worse since.
Yeah. They started off 1-7 and been pretty shit since.
I think someone fan pointed out maybe somewhere I saw maybe on Twitter they were talking about we talked about before how the Knicks were ahead of the curve for a little while. The 2012-13 team that won 54 games, if I have the right year, they played the 2-point guard. They were emphasized passing. They emphasized a lot more 3-point shooting. They did everything right. They did small ball. And after that, they just gave up on all. They just went back to not being ahead of the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like worse the Knicks could figure it out for a season. And then just not be smart enough to actually go with that.
Anyway, the next 2 games are at Brooklyn and at Washington. That's it before we record again.
Guaranteed wins.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to record next Sunday. If not, we'll be back the weekend after. And nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is the email. nyknickspodcast, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. Get one of the last 6 Knicks podcast shirts, the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com.
If by chance you go to a strip club, you're getting a lap dance, any strip club, tell her New York Knicks podcast sent you.
And try and get a discount using NYKP.
NYKP. Anywhere.
All right.
NYKP?
Yeah.
Is it bad that KPs are our initials?
Well, it's Knicks podcast.
I understand that, but it just doesn't sound good. Are we going to be traded to Dallas? Please, please, please.
thenewyorknicks.com/ticket club. NYKP. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You can't go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say.